Picture this: Beverly Hills, 1993. The lobby of the Four Seasons is packed. It's the kind of room where every handshake is a deal, every glance a negotiation. Oscar winners sipping whiskey, agents bragging about weekend box office numbers, assistants circling like satellites. And there, standing near a grand piano under golden chandelier light, is Clint Eastwood, not talking, not smiling, just observing, stone-faced, arms crossed, looking like he's made of old Western sunlight and granite. Across the room, a young actor is playing to the crowd, a rising star with too much charm and not enough instinct. He's laughing, performing a story that ends with a cheap impersonation of Clint, squinted eyes, mumbled lines, a stiff old man walk. The room laughs. Everyone chuckles, except Clint. He doesn't shift. He doesn't respond. He just finishes his drink, gives a nod to the bartender, and walks out. No comment, no confrontation. And yet that silence stayed in the room. It settled over that actor's future like a desert tombstone. Within months, that actor's name was scrubbed from A-list casting sheets at Warner Brothers. Offers dried up. Rumors spread of creative differences and scheduling conflicts. But insiders knew it wasn't a coincidence. He crossed Clint Eastwood, one of the last people in Hollywood you can't disrespect because Clint doesn't fight. He erases. For decades, people whispered about that night. What did Clint hear? What did it mean? And what was Clint really like behind the stoic roles, the quiet charisma, the squint that launched 1,000 parodies? The truth is more chilling than any movie. Clint Eastwood doesn't yell, he doesn't tweet, he doesn't explain, he just remembers. And when someone crosses his code, someone insults, disrespects, or challenges him, he doesn't simply walk away, he shuts the door, quietly and forever. Today, at age 94, as the legend himself grows older and the industry he transformed evolves around him, some walls are cracking, stories are surfacing, patterns are becoming clearer, and 5 names have emerged. 5 people Clint Eastwood, for one reason or another, never forgave. Let's start with the first, Michael Moore, the documentary provocateur. In 2005, at the National Board of Review Awards, Clint was giving a speech. He was relaxed, in that trademark way. Soft voice, direct words. Then he turned to the audience, gestured toward the back, and delivered a line that froze the air. Michael Moore and I actually have a lot in common. We both appreciate documentaries, he said. But if he ever shows up at my front door with a camera, I'll kill him. Nervous chuckles, a few gasps, but Clint doesn't smile. He lets the line hang. Because it wasn't a joke. Clint believed Moore's films, especially Fahrenheit 9/11's, weren't just political commentary. They were personal attacks, wrapped in editing and theatrics. Clint, the son of a steel worker and a man who'd grown up during World War II, had built his career honoring veterans, toughness, and traditional values. To him, Moore wasn't pushing the truth. He was exploiting it. The two never spoke again. Clint never expanded on that single jab. He didn't want public dialogue. What was done. But the next person didn't get a warning. He got a fight. Spike Lee. The history clash. Clint Eastwood releases Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima. 2 war films told from the American and Japanese perspectives. The films earned praise. Awards buzz. Critical reverence. But Spike Lee had a different take. You can't ignore that African Americans gave their lives, Spike said in an interview. Where are they in this movie? Clint wasn't amused. He snapped back. A guy like him should shut his face. Suddenly, it wasn't just a film debate. It was a cultural clash. The traditionalist cowboy versus the modern provocateur. Spike fired back. I'm not going to shut up. He sounds like an angry old man. The feud spiraled into headlines. Clint versus Spike. Hollywood watched. Filmmakers weighed in. College kids wrote essays. But neither man retreated. Clint's stance? He told the story he wanted to tell. Spike his stance. The lack of representation was a betrayal. No apology. No compromise. They've never worked together. They never will. But the next name didn't accuse Clint. He just didn't fit into Clint's world. And Clint never forgot it. Leonardo DiCaprio, The Clash of Craft. In 2011, Eastwood cast DiCaprio in J. Edgar, a biopic of the controversial FBI head. It was one of the most anticipated collaborations of the decade, an aging legend behind the camera, directing perhaps the most respected actor of his generation. But almost instantly, there was tension. Clint believed in minimal rehearsal, quick, instinctual takes. Leo believed in preparation, layers, emotional mapping. Day after day, Clint moved on after one take, and Leo quietly asked for more time, more exploration. No one yelled, no one stormed off, but by the end of filming, it was clear. There would never be a second movie together. Clint kept using actors like Morgan Freeman, Bradley Cooper, Hilary Swank, people who understood his pace. Leo didn't align with that. And Clint valued alignment more than fame. Still, Leo kept it respectful. The next name didn't. Seth Rogen, The Public Insult. Clint Eastwood's American Sniper releases. A massive hit. Soldiers and their families flocked to theaters, but Seth Rogen posts a tweet comparing the film to a scene inside a Nazi propaganda movie in Inglourious Bastards. He doesn't tag Clint. He doesn't attach nuance, just a pointed comparison to Nazism. Clint stays silent. But the silent door closes. Industry insiders whisper that Clint made it clear if Seth's name shows up on a casting list, cross it out. Rogen later said it wasn't meant to be an insult, but Clint doesn't deal in explanations. He deals in conclusions. Finally, there's the most subtle, intense grudge of all. Gene Hackman, The Silent Rivalry, Unforgiven, two icons in their prime. Clint Eastwood, directing and starring. Gene Hackman, legendary, intense, stubborn. Together, they made one of the greatest films in cinema history. But the shoot was rough. Hackman challenged Clint's notes, questioned lines, argued blocking. Clint didn't snap. He just absorbed it, quietly. And he never worked with Hackman again. Gene later retired. Clint kept moving, one project after another. If they cross paths now, it's polite nods, respect. But the warmth? Gone. The silence of the gunslinger. Clint Eastwood didn't need to shout to make a statement. He didn't jump on podcasts to settle scores. He didn't post subtweets or use publicists for damage control. He just watched, remembered. And when someone crossed the line, he shut the door quietly and forever. In Hollywood, where everyone is talking, Clint built a legacy on what was left unsaid. So what do you think? Was he right? Or is the cold shoulder more deadly than a Hollywood feud? Leave a comment below and make sure to hit subscribe. Because for every name Clint couldn't stand, there's another he quietly admired. And we'll be exposing those very soon.